it's just gonna happen just because of whether I go and I sub everybody in under a minute or whatever. Regardless, people are like, oh, his style, this and that. I'm like, if you don't like a style that finishes matches in under a minute, that's cool. You can keep complaining while I get paid because that's what's gonna keep happening. I finish fights very quickly. And it's like, if you want to say anything about my style, it's like, I'm the last matchup you guys probably won. Don't take pride in it, but it's like, yeah, I send people's ligaments to rafters. It's like, it's what I'm known to do. It's what I'm going to continue to do. I look for weaknesses in other people. If I think people have a weakness in passing guard and in the leg lock department, I'm going to exploit that.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your friendly neighborhood BJJ podcaster, Rafa Esparza, coming to you with another great installment of the Grappling Hour. I hope you're having a good day. We have an excellent guest who is with us here today, who is checking out his hair. I understand we caught him red-handed here. We will get back to him in a second. We'll give him some time. He has plenty of time to look at his hair before we get back to him. But before we do, a couple quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like this show, and by God, I hope that you do, I would love it if you check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. But Raph, what do I get if I go to patreon.com/grappling hour? Well, for $5 a month, you can see these interviews 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, you can see extra bonus content not available anywhere else, including tape studies where we watch matches and fights with the athletes in question, and we get insight into what was going on in their heads. We also get great segments like Roast Raph, where people roast my competition footage. Somebody from the PGF recently did that. I won't say who. And I gave them one of my worst matches. So, yeah, it's not great. But I will tell you, you have to pay to see that stuff, because I'm not just giving that away. Like, that's not always going to be on my social media. You should pay for that one, I feel. Anyway, you can see that. You can also see a segment called the Grappling Hour Challenge, where we give an athlete a series of cards with submissions on them. They get to pick one at random. I don't know what it is, but they have 2 minutes to land it on me. The caveat is I get to roast them. And you can ask our friends Cody Steele, William Tackett, Chris Wojcik, how that segment went for them. Good, bad, I don't know. You got to pay to go find out. So check that out, patreon.com/grappling hour, plus much, much more. And we're doing something with our current guest here a little bit later, but more on that in a second. Additionally, if you like this Grappling Hour merch, check out this t-shirt. If you head on over to rafesparza.com/merch, get you a Grappling Hour hoodie, a t-shirt, a tank top, and just this year we have decided, if you're on the sauce, meaning steroids, meaning bomba, meaning needles, whatever you inject. I don't even know what it is this day. It could be a pill at this point. But if you're on steroids and you wear a Grappling Hour tank top, we'll look the other way. Don't love steroids. I roll with a lot of people who feel like they're on steroids. But if you're wearing a different tank top, let's say Fighters Who Drink Coffee podcast, you're wearing one of their tank tops, USADA. You know that meme where it's like, you do anything wrong, jail. You do something wrong, jail. That's what we're doing, but USADA, with anybody else's merch this year. So check that out, rafesparza.com/merch. Last couple reminders, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you don't know what you want to comment on in this video, by the end of the video, I will give you a prompt that you will be able to comment in the comment section wherever you're watching. Whether it's Patreon, YouTube, I don't care. Just tell us what you're thinking. And last but not least, check us out on our Discord at Grappling Hour. All right, folks, let's talk about our guest. Well, our guest had a very nerve-wracking, tense, hero's journey, crazy sort of journey to make his way into one of his dreams. That is the upcoming season of the PGF. Come February 4th, you will be part of the draft, and He had a lot of work to do. But if you watched him talk with Travis Thomas afterwards, there was nobody smiling bigger than our guest today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome for the very first time onto the show, one Brett Moyer. How are you doing, sir?
What's up, guys? Good, boys. Good. Good to be on.
Brett, you, first of all, let's talk fashion choice. You walked onto the set after competing and you had sleeves off, guns out. And correct me if I'm wrong, did you have a certain pop star on your t-shirt as you walked out?
I think that's a statement. I think a Whitney shirt's a statement, baby. That's how we roll out here in Vegas.
I just
It's
need to
always Whitney
know,
hour.
of all artists to put on, not like I disagree, Whitney is a goat. I was just curious why the first fashion statement that we got from you after winning this incredible gauntlet was, I want to dance with somebody. So, where does this logic make sense, sir?
I feel like I'm just half Kanye West, half Whitney Houston when it comes down to it. When we talk about aura, I feel like when I'm out there, it's half Whitney, it's half Kanye.
Okay, well, great. Retractments are coming sooner than later and hopefully less crack. I just, I get concerned with the children, and I'm happy that you picked her because she's a voice of her generation. So I got no
Of
beef
course,
there.
of
I just
course.
was immediately taken by this because I thought of two things. One, way to get our attention, but two, does this make you somebody we have to watch at the draft for their fashion choices? Because people want to win best dressed at the draft. It just
Of course.
exists.
Of course, Brandon just put in the group chat, he's always throwing little fun bags in there. So, hey, if there's a bag attached to it, I'm gonna be not only competing to be number one, but I'm gonna make sure I'm number one. So I've definitely had something in mind for a draft for a while now, but now that it's here in front of me and less than a week away, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I should reveal what it is yet, though. I can definitely reveal a secret to it. I can
Mm.
reveal a code. Um, I guess G Unit works as a code word,
Mm.
but let's just say my outfit's gonna be I'm excited about it.
Okay, so there's a few things that are just coming up to mind. I know I mentioned this off air, but it is going to be very staggeringly difficult to not roast you so heavily. Let's start with
For
the
sure.
obvious here. It's not even the chain. The chain's fine. It's not the black t-shirt. Please bring
It's
the
Bruce Lee.
oversized. No, 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 no. We're not going to
Bruce
roast
Lee.
Bruce Lee.
You can't. You can't.
I want to bring back onto screen the oversized amount of coffee that you are drinking here, sir. Please
Absolutely. This is my
show
third one
us.
today.
This is your third one. Is this a
Nah,
Seven
it's not.
Eleven Super Gold? Please
That
don't.
would be crazy. Nah, this is a Dunkin', which there aren't too
Okay.
many of in Vegas. So they're at discrete spots. If you know where they are, you know where they are. But this is a Starbucks town. I found a way to get my Dunkin'.
Okay. Okay. I have so many questions. What is in that monstrosity? Let me just perspective right now. This is my coffee right now. It is filled to right here. So this is even oversized on this thing. My coffee is from an espresso machine and it is this big. What are you drinking in that giant oversized cup?
See, that's interesting you said that because I'm either drinking the world's tiniest coffees or I'm drinking the world's biggest coffees. I have this Cuban spot down the street that I don't know if you've ever had Cuban espresso, but it's
Mm.
this tiny little cup of espresso and you're not supposed to shoot it. You'll be Whitney Houston for days. So you're supposed to sip on it. And that the Cubans make the best coffee for sure. I don't always have like the agenda to have that type of energy. So I think this is just a normal, just large iced, whatever their flavors are, iced vanilla with maybe a shot or two of espresso in there for good luck. But yeah, this is just a pretty generic iced coffee for the most part. I think there's protein milk in here, so I'm being healthy. At the end of the day, it's not all sugary. I'm getting my protein in, making sure I stay strong for a season.
Okay. That was a major concern of mine. I was not concerned about that in all honesty, because I saw how much work you had to do, and man, you looked very comfortable out there. I guess before we transition, I guess the reason why I was saying is, what is the name of the spot you went to? Because I know that you're talking about going to Vegas or being in Vegas, but your boy here is going to be going back and forth. And I like finding these mom and pop shops. One of the best places I found, I want to say it was a Peruvian spot that I really enjoyed. Like, I try to take photos of everything. So when I go out to cover things for Vegas, such as y'all,
Yeah.
I try to go to different spots. So where is the spot you are speaking of?
I don't want to mess it up. I'll definitely plug you and send you the
Link?
address, but the Cuban spot, yeah, the Cuban spot, it's like Havana Cafe or Havana Express, one of those.
Oh, you know what? I think I did go there.
I
I
think
think maybe it
it's
was that
on
one.
Flamingo, I'm pretty sure. So it's just off of the strip. It's maybe a mile off of the strip, 2 miles off of the strip. Yeah, it's on Flamingo, which is like halfway between my house and the strip.
Is
So
it like a
it's perfect
breakfast
for me.
spot too? It's like
It is.
coffee
It
and breakfast.
is.
Oh my
Yep.
god, dude! The dude. I think I got a burrito there, and this dude. Whenever you ask the locals, you're like, "What should I get?" Because I was looking at one thing, and he goes, "Mm-mm," and he literally takes his
Mm.
finger and points to the one above it, and I was like, "You know what, sir? Who am I?
Uh, Right.
Please."
And he just
And
starts going, C, C, C. That's the one you should get. Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, like, he came over to check on me. And this is always the funniest checkup when they go like this. They go, "How is it?" And I go, "You know how it is. You know,
You're ready now.
what is this? You just want credit. Yeah, it's really good, dude. What am I
Right.
gonna say? It's terrible." So
Right.
yeah, I'll have to see. I'll look back at my photos from when I was covering it, because the memory is not great with names, but it is very good with places and aesthetics. And I liked it was a cool little shop. I enjoyed it, but I took a photo so that when I was going back for season 9, which I am, and I'm driving back and forth, I'm gonna make a stop there. So
Nice.
I'm glad
Heck
to
yeah.
know. We'll go over that in a second. Let's talk about your day though. Let's talk first and foremost the way you felt. You encapsulated it with Travis in your post interview, but now that you've had a few days to think about it and the emotions have been able to settle, what does being in the PGF draft mean to you?
It's kind of like it's almost like job well done in my mind, but at the same time too, it's like don't get comfortable, don't stay level. I mean, it was okay to be excited for like a day, but now bring yourself down to reality. Well, I played football in college. My D coordinator always had a good rule. It's 24-hour rule. Whether we win or we lose that week, it was you have 24 hours to deal with the emotions, and then you're right back. So it's like, as I am very happy with the position that run that I went on Saturday, because that's what I think I'm going to be able to look back on this, and a lot of people are going to be able to look back on that run a couple of years from now. That run's going to mean a lot, and that run's going to be symbolic to my whole career. It's more so like, yeah, job well done, but you're just getting started. It's don't get happy and don't get comfortable. It's now the work begins, in my opinion, because now I finally brought myself into the consideration of being where I've known I am for a while now, which is at the top of the sport, one of the best names in the division, in multiple divisions. But it's like now it's time to really prove why you're here and what you can do while you're here.
I'm glad you say that, because I actually share a very similar belief to your defensive coach. My belief is this: win or lose, I have 24 hours of it for you. And
Yeah.
I make a further rule for our guys, which is I don't want them looking at footage for 24 hours, because you either romanticize it or undervalue what it is. You'll make excuses for what you saw, and that doesn't help us get better. So
Right.
a lot of times our guys are like, "Hey, coach, can you send me the footage?" I was like, "I'm not sending you dick till Monday. Like, go enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
And if you lost, sit in it for a day so that you'll want to get better." And lo and behold, one of my students caught a really good submission. And by really good, I mean the technique was not great, but we got the job done in like 16 seconds. So I was super
Right.
proud of him. And he put
Productive.
it up and he was like, "Hey, coach, I know it wasn't perfect." And I was like, "No, no, no, no. You're in your 24 hours. You get to celebrate. We'll fix it on Monday." But he tapped.
Right.
So it worked. It's just
Right.
we're thinking the future. And he was laughing. He's like, so were you thinking that the whole time? I was like, oh, I said for sure we're going to get this, but it's good for white belts and your first
Right.
tournament. And it's your first submission. So we're not going to shit on that parade. But come
Right.
Monday, we might go over a couple things to make sure we can do it again. And he's just like, for sure, coach,
100%.
for sure. That's awesome. So one of the guys on Monday, they came up to me. They're like, how is his technique? I was like, well, I don't want to ruin it, but let's just say
Right.
if I've got a rear naked choke, I'd love to see some hooks.
Right.
I don't think that's absurd.
Right.
They're like,
Right.
well, and then I showed them one other part and I go, can I tell you one thing? And I'll admit this to you. My guy trapped one of the arms, like almost by accident.
Hmm.
And because it's a white belt tournament, the way the arm was extended, I realized if he pulls his leg back, he could really fuck up this arm. And evil coach brain in me was about to say, like, hey man, just kick your leg back. And then I thought, I was like, I don't want to kill another white belt. I think we're going to get a submission here. I think we're good. So a little bit later, when I showed it to the guys, they're like, were you really thinking that? I was like, I think of everything I can. It's just, if we were in a worse spot, I'd tell you. And we were about to make a decision between submitting a dude and making sure he can't compete for 6 months. And I don't feel like doing
Right.
that. So in your world, though, a very, very busy day. You said you had 9 matches.
I had 8. I had
You
8
had 8. My
matches.
apologies.
8
With
matches. No worries.
with 8, can we go through match by match? I'm here to jog your memory, but let's see where
Of
we can
course.
go match by match on this particular one, because your day started off in a pretty good way, and it is against somebody who I know and who trains out here in Los Angeles. So let's talk about the very first match that you had that day, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, Started out, I knew he was a seasoned. I didn't know a ton about him other than that he was seasoned. I remember doing my research on everybody, and while I was going through his bracket, I was like, this is a good bracket. I looked at all the other qualifiers up to date this season, and looking at this, I was like, no doubt in my mind, this is the most stacked qualifier, which I was expecting. This is Vegas. We pull from California. We're the we're the premier West Coast state, in my opinion. I know obviously SoCal, you guys had some really good qualifiers. I know a Pasadena qualifier was really good as well.
It's
But
okay.
I,
It's
I think
okay.
when you just look at
hear
it,
you. I hear you. I just I know where you train. They're all my friends.
100%.
They might say the same thing too, but I think they also know I have my feelings. And this, you mentioned 50 Cent and G Unit, and I'm just like, this kid's starting to bring out like turf wars, and I don't know if I'm a blood or a crip right now. I would agree though. You guys have an incredible area, and it was an
Absolutely.
intense area. Kevin, who was in your first match, I believe, is somebody who I've trained with a couple times. I know he's a gamer, and he had a good showing at the Pasadena event. So
Mhm.
you scouting him out, when you kind of saw that, like when you knew that and you were able to get a break, walk us through how you were able to approach from transitioning with the pre-prep of looking at everybody and kind of getting a sense of them to the actual matches themselves for you.
Yeah. So I mean, in that first one, I knew I knew he was gonna be tough, game and experienced, and in those type of situations, ahead of like going into that match, I think about there's a good chance if I get a bite on something, be prepared for him not to tap. Be prepared for him to go out on his shield. Be prepared for worst case scenario, which is I might put up 20 attempts, I might break his leg 3 or 4 times, and he doesn't tap. So be prepared. Be prepared for everything. So that's why I was playing through my mind, because these guys are so good and so experienced. Not everybody wants to tap to stuff too. There's so much on the line, and I knew that. That's why I was telling myself it was like it's gonna take an army to get me a tap. So I knew that going into it. And the first couple of attempts, I had some good bites and attempts early. And I saw that there wasn't a whole lot of grimace in his face, as I felt little rips and the ankle and foot area. It felt almost like ripping cardboard a little bit. And then officially one big one that almost demanded a tap. I almost, as crazy as it sounds, gave him an angle on the toe hold for him to move his leg in a direction that would create an Aoki for me rather than just a straight ankle. And I knew that that would just be too much for him to deal with. It's either you're a psychopath or you're going to tap at that point, in my opinion.
He is a little bit of a psychopath, though. So
I found that out in there.
yeah. I mean, I do this with a lot of my training partners. I give them the look like, do I have to do this? And sometimes in the past, Kevin has given me the look back like, do what? This is even a submission. Okay, well, I guess we're playing these rules now. So
Right.
I've been there. Tough competitor. So great start to your day, though. Let's talk about your second match. Your second match is with Ryder. Walk us through that match, sir.
Whew, I found out that he was game in there. I didn't know anything about him going into it, but then I found out I didn't see his first match either. But I heard he had a really quick leg lock finish, and then I found out that that kid is, yeah, he's a gamer. He came in hot. He came in. He did a flying cartwheel pass off of the rip, and I knew right there. I was like, okay, this kid's gonna come in hot. I was like, I've seen this story before. Pretty much everyone that comes in like that against me, they roll themselves right into a submission. They roll themselves right into what I want. It's a setup for me. If you come in hot, you there's only one way to go. It's you're gonna get countered by me. And I hit him with the same counter in the backside 50-50 that I hit everybody in, that I bait people in. I bait people basically on a knee cut slice. I want them to get knee on belly. And then my inversion skills are very good. I'm able to get to backside 50-50. As I inverted into backside 50-50, I had a little bit of a bite on the heel, but I used it to transition to a normal saddle in 411. And then from there, I finished going the wrong way, but the wrong way exposes the heel way more than finishing it the right way. So with the heel exposure and the bite I had, I felt two little clicks, and then I started to apply more pressure and felt many more clicks in the ankle. Luckily, not the knee, because those type of submissions can cause ACL meniscus damage, which could end up being, 9-month injuries. So I'm glad that that didn't happen, obviously. But yeah, I definitely felt my baby's coming here. Daddy's working. Thank you.
No. Hold on. Rule: if there is a dog or an animal or a cat that makes its way there,
this is my baby Peanut.
Oh my god!
This is my oldest. Yeah, this is my oldest. We keep the puppy locked up. I have two. This is my Pomeranian Chihuahua, and then I have my Pomeranian Husky. That's my my emotional baby. He's my boy. But yeah, I felt very good about my mechanics there, my braking pressure. I think everything was super accurate. The way that I was able to catch the submission and finish, and obviously you don't look to try to injure opponents, but it's like when you start feeling the ankle tear a little bit, that your technique was perfect, and that's the reason he tapped, was because he wouldn't have been walking if he didn't. So there's been kind of like a theory that I've been going on, and it's because I watch a lot of Jersey Shore, being from the East Coast. I'm kind of like Mike the Situation, except for I don't put girls and hoes in situations. I put grown men in situations that they have to decide whether they want to walk or they want to go on with that match. So I feel like the Situation may be a nickname and kind of an aura in the future here.
Is that a nickname you've given yourself or that other people have given to you?
I think the Situation's given me the nickname. I think the situations I'm in give me a nickname. So I think it's almost just coming from a premeditated place. I think the universe, or whatever people say, is giving me a nickname.
That got so meta so quickly that I'm not sure I fully understand the logic behind it, because I'm just going at its base value, which is you're never supposed to give yourself a nickname. So you tried to tell me right now that the entity, the world, the universe gave it to you.
The universe did.
All right,
that's how that works.
We're going to check 10th Planet, Las Vegas, for any kind of drugs.
You might not have to look too far. I don't know if it's Vegas.
I know where they are, so I'm familiar. I mean, let's put it this way. When you are in these situations, you have on your page, you recently shared one today, and it looked staged. Like it just looked like how beautifully it fell into
Yeah.
place. And
Right.
it's something that I think demonstrates your awareness of position. So as you see one of your opponents doing something, not only are you able to capitalize on it well, but it looks quite effortless. So that speaks very
Mm.
well in you and the training that you've had and the competition experience that you have.
100%. 100%.
Let's do this. We're going to move into your third match. So in your third match, you went up against somebody who had a lot of heat on them. So a lot of people were looking at Noah, and some other competitors were even talking him up. So talk us through your third match.
So I knew about Noah coming into this, but I'd never rolled with him or done extensive research. I knew how credentialed he was and how experienced he was and the stages and platforms he's competed on. I thought I was going to run right through him, to be honest with you. I thought he'd have no answer to pass my guard. And I just personally, in my opinion, I'm one of the best leg lockers in the world. I'm not getting caught by anybody in leg locks. Noah immediately brought the fire to me. He went and made it obvious he was trying to be in there for as little time as possible, go and get a big submission and do whatever he had to. And that's what he was doing all day, was trying to finish stuff in under a minute, going and getting a bite on whatever and just sending it and cranking it. And I got caught. I got caught going for the same thing he was, going for an attempt at an Aoki. He ended up hitting me with an improvised Woj lock, or like a reverse Aoki. That was really slick. And he put me in a situation where I had to decide whether I wanted to, possibly keep going or get my foot sent in half. And he did a good job. He got the job done under a minute. That was very impressive. I'm a fan of it. I'm a fan of his run, of his performance. Yeah, he completely just earned my respect. He went in there and did something that not a lot of people have been able to do to me. I'm really hard to sub. I'm really hard to take out. And yeah, long for him to do it like that, I'm definitely a fan now. He definitely gained a new follower, a new fan from that.
How do you then course correct? Because it's one thing to have something like that happen, but the rules are it's a double elimination. So you're not
Of
out. It's
course.
just a matter of, okay, eyes on the prize, slight setback. How do
Right.
you get back to the main dance and kind of still finish strong?
So one thing I've learned from being in Vegas and gambling and playing blackjack is odds and percentages are everything. Me, someone that doesn't get beat much, let alone get subbed much, I knew the odds of me losing again were slim to none. And those are the odds I like to play against the dealer with. So going into that next match with him, I knew that there was no way he was going to beat me twice. I'm just too good. I'm too seasoned right now. And like you talked about earlier, how effortlessly that inversion I put on my story looked. I can do that stuff and make it look so effortlessly because I believe the way that I collect data and the way that I'm able to analyze data in short periods of time in the course of a match is just too much for people. I feel like I collect data and my brain operates while I'm in there just on a different speed. So I knew that with those percentages, I knew that nobody was going to be able to make the adjustments from match one to match two like I would be able to. And that's why I knew, even though I was going against JJ in the finals, who only had 3 matches leading up to that point, and I had 6, even though my body was more worn down, I knew my mind was sharper and I've collected more data on him so far. So I would for sure have the advantage, even though I'd went twice as many matches as him that day.
Well, that's just unfair. You know that child can't do data. What are you talking about? JJ is an emotional fighter. He is I like to give him a lot of shit. He's a good kid, but
For sure.
it is one thing when your parents come up and tell me like, no, roast him, he's a hothead. And I go, the parents shouldn't be telling me this, but they're like, no, you're good. You're good. Keep doing it. Oh, sounds great. So is what it is. But having said that, for you, you do come back very quickly. And you were nice enough to say that for your other opponent, for like Ryder and Noah, like they came in guns a-blazing. You responded very quickly back in that next match. So what was great about you is you were no slouch in your record as well. You had 3 1-minute finishes. So you're really trying to make that impression to those folks who are watching you from the 4 different teams to say, hey, not only am I a finisher, I finish quickly, which is extra points for you and your team. So for
100%.
you, what was it like to come back and get that next submission then?
Who was that one against? I'm sorry.
That one was against Levi Thurman. And by the way, Levi is all like, it's capital Levi, but Thurman is all caps. So I don't know if I'm supposed to say Levi Thurman or if I'm just supposed to say Levi Thurman.
Yeah, he was game, and I was watching him go on a run that day too. So I knew I was gonna. That's the type of guy where he's so experienced and he's so good. I believe he's been a black belt for a while now. He was one of those guys that I knew going in there, I was gonna have to catch him making a mistake because he was gonna try to play as perfectly of a game as possible. He was gonna have a game plan for me. He'd be watching me all day. So I was just like, my game plan's gonna be better, and I'm gonna catch him making a mistake way before he'll catch me making a mistake because I'm not gonna do one next 6 minutes. I know my game. And I probably took a lot of heat for it, inverting a lot and playing off of my back. I know my game to play to make 0 mistakes, which is what I had to do in the consolation bracket to punch my spot. I did what I had to do to punch my spot, and I was playing an exactly perfect game where my attacks were perfect. I believe I finished him in under a minute as well.
You did.
If not, I think it was close. Yeah.
I want to ask, you were taking heat for this? And from whom? Was it the chat section or from other people? Like, where is this coming from?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's just going to happen just because of whether I go and I sub everybody in under a minute or whatever, regardless. People are like, oh, his style, this and that. I'm like, if you don't like a style that finishes matches in under a minute, that's cool. You can keep complaining while I get paid because that's what's going to keep happening. I finish fights very quickly. And it's like, if you want to say anything about my style, it's like, I'm the last matchup you guys probably won. Don't take pride in it, but it's like, I send people's ligaments to rafters. It's like, it's what I'm known to do. It's what I'm going to continue to do. I look for weaknesses in other people. If I think people have a weakness in passing guard and in the leg lock department, I'm going to exploit that.
It's such a funny thing to see and hear that. Well, let me just say this. We have a policy on the show, which is we can make fun of you, but we're very protective, like your brothers. So we feel like your older uncles, your Theos, that just go like, yo, you don't make fun of that kid. We do, because we know him, and we're rooting for all of you guys. So when I see people, it sounds like they're grasping at nothing. Like they're trying to reach for something to be like, oh, look at this guy inverting. Whatever, dude. A minute and 2 seconds. Lame. I just feel like the whole essence of jiu-jitsu is you do what you're best at so that you put on a show, and it's supposed to be a showcase of what you're best at, not what I want 100%. You to be best at. So when people are demanding like, oh, this dude's pulling guard, I go, well, how does he pull guard? Is it fascinating to watch? Not everybody has to wrestle. And I feel like that is one of the weaknesses of UFC BJJ, where you would see somebody like Mikey and it's like he can't pull guard, and you go, why would you have that rule for your franchise? Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, just let him pull guard so we can get to the stuff. Otherwise, we're going to get the Karate Kid kick. And if he's doing that, now he's going course correction the other way. And I think he thinks that he's a Dagestani. It's very confusing here for people. So that's why, to me, I don't give a shit what you do. If you can make it compelling and do what you do, that's great. But if you get one break, let alone 2, let alone 3, it does support the system of
I think I had 5. Yeah, well, I think I had 5.
Hold on. I'm just, it's a for example, not a decree of the stats. That's why 100%. We have Abe at Substats. His job is to do that. My job is to give the analogy of why you be so dumb to audience members. So that is the more important thing. Let's now go into your next match, because at this point you're feeling good momentum. You're going against Timbova, and this is actually the first decision that you have the entire tournament. I know that can't sit well with you, but nonetheless, it is getting the job done.
Right. Um, he was a smaller ligamented wrestler, a little bit stockier. He moved really well. Within the first 30 seconds of the match, I pull. I'm starting to look for openings. I'm starting to give like dummy attempts, right? To see almost like feints into attempts to see how he's going to react, and basically then to see what's going to be there and how I'm going to trap him, more to say. And his corner starts going, just circle, you're good, just keep circling, keep circling. I'm like, I hope that they don't think that that's a liable option, that he's just going to be able to run on the outside, run from my guard. And luckily, Brandon and the PGF staff started to give him shot clocks for that. So he got two. I know the commentating was like, I don't know why he's getting shot clocks. It's, well, his corner's yelling for him to stall pretty much. So I took that into consideration. I was like, okay, as these shot clocks start to come in, it's going to force him to come in. And that's where I capitalized, hit entry after entry. He was slick in the sense of it wasn't the most technical how he did it, but doing anything he can to, as soon as he's in a entanglement, just bail as soon as possible. Don't stay in there. Put up multiple Choi bar entries, multiple leg entries, had a couple good attacks off. Once again, the ligaments being a little bit smaller might have taken a little bit better of a judgment call. So adjustment I'll make better next time to get a quicker finish. I feel like you have to, as soon as I get the bite, I have to have something better in mind. I can't take as much time to set it up because it doesn't take as much space for him to remove his knee line or remove his elbow line to get out of the submission. But I was able to get off multiple attempts, which scored in the eyes of the judges, which mattered that day. But obviously, if it's in season, I'm doing anything I can, whether I have to get up and start throwing open palm strikes to get him to engage, to get those points scored that day, because my goal is throughout the season to get the most bonuses and most money bags as possible, and you don't do that by going to decision. So yeah, obviously that was even though I won the match, it was an L in my eyes, because it's about getting paid this season. It's about scoring the most points to help my team win, and it's about scoring the most points to get myself into the playoffs, obviously.
I feel that. And I feel like for you, it is a sort of being hard on yourself to expect more of yourself. But the reason why I know that is, if you're a data collector, and it sounds very much like you are, not having that result there can make you a little bit agitated. But I tell people, I'm like, take things in relative stride. You got what you needed, which was a pretty dominant victory, to then advance and go on to the next thing. Because if you don't get to go on to the next thing, the day's over. So you really have to make sure that you do what you need to do to make it to where your goals are. And guess what? Right after that, you have a resounding comeback against the very guy who beat you just only a couple matches before. What was the difference maker here? You alluded to the fact that you weren't going to get beat twice by the guy, but what was the key critical component for you that was able for you to capitalize only just maybe 40 minutes after that main match?
Yeah, so this is where the run really started, because in these last four matches, I was back to back to back to back. The last four matches of the night, I was in all the last four matches, and it started, and they were all against absolute dogs and animals. So against, four of the best people at this weight class in the world, or three, because I had JJ twice. So yeah, I get Noah on the rematch, and he immediately backsteps into 411, pulls my leg to the outside, almost like he's going to reap. Me having long legs, instead of trying to clear my knee line. See, I knew this was going to be a deep mental shootout with how smart Noah is. My coach, Casey, who was there with me that day, Casey goes, he's a smart kid, and we start talking about that. He was like, his mind's really good. So I took all that into consideration, that he analyzes data very well. So as my foot's back there, instead of pushing my knee line free, I push it through a little bit farther. So that way he's going to have to reach back really far if he wants to bite on my outside leg. he, being a smart kid, notices that too and tries to collect my second leg, my outside leg, which, me being as flexible as I am, I can do a split to re-pummel it out, which I know nobody else in the sport can really do. So I knew that that was going to be a look that he'd never seen before. As he's going to collect that outside leg, he is a very good hook in, so I can't get a hold of either of his feet, right? So that way there's no way for me to counter, and he's just on offense and I'm not. Me, I make it very hard for him. So I pop my hips up a little bit, so there's a little bit of space. And as there's a little bit of space, one of his hooks comes off. So I hit a very untraditional toe hold. The only other between the leg toe hold I've seen hit was Craig Jones on Richie Martinez. Um, I go between my leg as that hook's coming off, and I'm able to get a really tight toe hold. Um, it the grip I had, I didn't have to adjust it all. It was almost just like perfect. It was almost like the perfect toe hold, to the sense of every single ounce of muscle I put into it was all productive. There was nothing that I was using in the break that was a waste of energy, which is exactly what you're looking for when you're leg locking. So I felt about a second into it, I, as well as the crowd there, heard a pop, and I felt it once again, that cardboard, ripping cardboard. And he's a dude. Noah's a freaking tough kid. He didn't want to tap to it too. And then the pop and everything break was so bad that I felt his foot fold a little bit, and then I started applying more pressure, and he, I think, just knew the outcome of that wouldn't be very good. So um, making a tough kid that I don't think is tap into very many submissions, tap, I mean, lets you know that I don't think that anybody was surviving that toe hold. But yeah, that happened inside of a minute too. Once again, Noah's type of kid, he's just gonna come and bring you a smoke right away. He's gonna come bring it to you right away. So that's where all those hands of blackjack, all those really tough rounds with Varela and Nick Ortiz and all the top UFC guys come into play, because you have to think like that. There is no time to set stuff up or analyze data in your head or think about percentages. It's just, how are you going to react when the pressure's on you right now? There's 5 other people sitting at this table. There's a really good experienced dealer, and there's a lot of heads watching you, and you just got Delta 11. Are you going to double down or no? So I made that decision to double down, just rip it. And, I mean, sometimes you make a gamble, it pays for it.
That's what's up. I mean, shout out Nick. Dude's a monster. It was a rough training session the last time I came through, and I was just like, I misidentified him as an MMA fighter, mostly because of his pressure. And I thought somewhere on his social media, because I think what people forget is we see so many people in this sport. So he reminded me of this dude who fought MMA. And then I was like, yeah, dude, you got great MMA pressure. He's like, I don't fight. And I was like, oh, well, you feel like it though. So I wouldn't just say it unless it was true. But, I gave him that props that day. And what I really liked about Nick, for his size as well, he knows how to use his size. He's obviously athletic, but his leg lock game was very solid as well, where I was just like, hey man, I'm not even trying to shoot on you. At first you were passing and you were just looking for other opportunities that I said, man, those are really good transitions off of that. So to have somebody like him that is a training partner, you're right. It's going to be great rounds for you to be prepared for these kind of deep water situations. You 100%. Keep mentioning gambling though, and I just can't stop thinking about when you get money at the draft, how quickly I have to invite you to a poker table and at least try to take some of the money that you have earned from your draft.
Never. One step ahead always.
That's fine, but you don't cheat.
You may take it. You may take it for a season, or you may take it for a session, but it's gonna be right back in my pocket somehow.
No,
one way or another.
No, I'm not. This is.
Hey, look at that, and then run off with it.
I was about to say that I can appreciate. I like to tell people all the time, you don't get to be this long in the tooth in the jiu-jitsu and MMA world without being resourceful. And if you're not good 100%. At jiu-jitsu or MMA, you better be good at something. And I just happen to be pretty good at cheating. So I subscribe to the Eddie Guerrero rules of lie, cheat, and steal. And I'm going to make sure that I see that through. So It's okay, man. I understand. You'll always be forever better at jiu-jitsu than me. Okay with that. However, I'm going to find out how much money you make at the draft. And I'll be like, all right, I'll take 20% because I'm not heartless. But I'll leave you with the rest of it. Let's get into these last couple matches, sir. To me, this is really where I finished competing and I'm sitting at an In-N-Out drive-through. I'm watching it. It's tense. And I know that things seem to go well for you, even though you have a little bit of the odds stacked against you. So let's talk about odds here. JJ hasn't lost, has had short match times. You have gone through a gauntlet. So it is on you with already one loss to make sure that to stay in this thing, you got to submit him at least this once just to force a real final. So
Yeah, 100%.
how do you do that?
Go in there and I hit my bread and butter. I believed going into that match, I wholeheartedly believed my best is going to be better than his best. His best is going to be wrestling, standing on the feet, trying to pass and get to the back. My best is going to be, I'm going to scoot in, I'm going to set you up, I'm going to enter, and I'm going to finish. And my best against his best, right off of the rip, I came away with the dub in just a little bit over a minute. So I was scored the points. Obviously, it wasn't what I was looking for. I was looking for that extra point in under a minute. You know, I mean, give my team the best chance to win that season and give myself the best chance to get a money bag. But I believe I would have still, just because of the level of competition and how I did it and how effortlessly I did it that first time, I believe I would have gotten a money bag for that performance. So all in all, yeah, it was what I was looking for, and it was what I know that I needed. I knew that going to war, even if I would win the first decision against JJ, that wouldn't be good for me, because you don't want to go to war twice in a row with JJ Bowers. That kid's built for war, as so am I. I'm just going to make the odds better on myself, which is going to be, let's go take him out in about a minute, and then let's reassess on what I got to do next. And that's what I did.
Okay. Here's where things get interesting, because I interviewed JJ yesterday, and his recount of that story or that match was that he knew he had a match to burn. So he was like, hey man, you've already got this position. Let's not waste time. I'm just going to concede this one so we can go to the final. And for him, he was feeling confident in his game. Now for me, as I'm watching this, about to finish the double-double, because I eat very slowly, I'm watching you guys, and it does look exhausting to begin with. He's got good pace. You were matching him, and then you were putting good threats on him. And I was legitimately starting to question which way they were going to go. And so were they. They took a long time to get back to you guys.
10 minutes. 10 minutes.
What was going on in your brain for those 10 minutes when you know, probably in your head, for your case, that you likely did enough? But if they're taking that long, it's just like waiting on what sometimes comes back as a split decision in MMA.
Right.
What was going on in your head that whole time?
Well, so as soon as the match ended, I thought I just won the qualifier. There was no doubt in my mind. As obviously Brandon says before the qualifiers, it's not about who won or lost. It's about who I like the most. He'll openly say that. But as soon as that bell rang, I was very confident that I had won. I didn't get my guard passed. I had put up multiple good submission attempts. I think that he made the adjustments to keep his legs free, which caused him to not create as much activity. I think my game scared him a little bit from creating more activity, and that benefited towards me. Obviously, he still kept a good pace, kept moving the whole time. He didn't take too many steps backwards. He more so just did avoiding, more sprawling, more circling, made good adjustments to avoid getting leg locked again. As soon as the match ended, right, I thought I won, and then Brandon gets up. He starts to go. He starts to talk to Zoltan. He starts to talk to the other owners. He starts to talk to fans. He starts to talk to everybody involved in PGF. And it's like, okay, whenever there's this much involved, it's obviously a split decision. If you hear one name multiple times, there's no doubt, right? And then he comes back, he tells us you guys are both in, which I was very happy about. Obviously, it's a job well done. Once again, like we talked about in the beginning, like that was the immediate goal at hand, was to go in here, get that draft spot, to get that money and get onto a team, and then I'm in the driver's seat position to prove why I'm the best in the world at this weight class. So that's what, in my mind, I was like, okay, job well done there. But obviously, I want the credential under my belt of being the qualifier winner, of the statement that I won, and that there was no doubt about it. But when you leave it up to the judge's decision, which I did do, I could have put up, watching back the footage, I could put up more guillotine attempts, Darce attempts. There was openings there, but I didn't. I thought I put up enough attempts. I thought I put up enough positive attempts, positive actions coming forward to win. But the people that's decisions mattered most didn't think so. So it be like that. It sucks. It's just another reason not to leave it up to judges ever. And this will be a very important lesson that I'll take with to the season, and one thing I'm not going to ever let happen again.
Good to hear. And I'm curious if, even though you both got what you wanted, which is to punch your ticket into the draft, so that's great. Right. It works both ways. He gets in, you get in. I couldn't help but think that even the thought of him getting the decision victory is something that's going to eat at you, because guess what? There's a high likelihood that you guys face each other again, if not once,
we will,
maybe even twice in this particular format at the PGF. So is that a match that you're already looking with a target on when you get into the season, provided he's not on your team?
To be honest with you, there's a target on all my matches' heads. It's not just, one person I got it out for. It's anybody that's standing in the way of me getting a money bag. Obviously, this is where it's going to become hard. I could end up running into some friends. I could end up running into people that come by and train a lot. I could end up, just like I did in this last qualifier. I've trained with JJ before. I've had, Matthias Jimenez. He was one of my training partners, one of my drilling partners last week. Bryce Mongilo. We've been close for a while now. Adam Frank is one of my immediate training partners, one of my homies. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's just like, no matter who it is, it's just they're going to be in the way of me getting a bag and me punching my spot to playoffs. There's no target on anybody's head except for whoever Brandon, the matchmakers, match me up with. You can just guarantee that whoever's in front of me, what I have in mind is my goal is to get 2 money bags a night. I want an extra $1,000 a night. I want to be the league leader going into the playoffs, and I want to be on the team that wins the whole season. So if you're standing in the way of me accomplishing those 3 things, it's you guys all have a target on your head. Not just one person. It's the whole roster. The whole team rosters are going to have targets on their head.
Let me see if I can encapsulate everything. Everyone can get these metaphorical hands is essentially what you're
Everybody's got a target on their head, yeah. Not just one person. Everybody's in trouble.
Well, let me just correct one thing for the public record here. You said that you put Bryce on that. Get in line, dude. Kid, he has issues with me. I have issues with him. And you know what was really funny is, I don't know who was doing it to him. It was in one of the consolation matches. And somebody was attempting a wrist lock on him. And I, in the comment section, said, good. That's what he gets for trying to attempt a wrist lock on me the last time we rolled. And nice. I don't know who the other commentator is. I know he's part of the Kings. I know Travis. And he was like, we got a salty commentator in the chat section. I'm like, I work here. What are you talking about, salty? I'm not just some rando. And I love the fact that I was like, hello, sir. Get to know me. I'm part of this organization as well. But like, I love that for a split second, I sounded like a civilian. I was like, hold on. There should be like There should be a little arrow here that says works at PGF. But yeah, I was like, dude, I'm not just insulting somebody I don't know. I was like, Bryce is one of my friends. And
He's a
yeah,
good guy.
man, he's
a
a
really
very
good guy.
nice guy. He is a good, hardworking dude, and he was somebody who I remembered when he was first on the come up. He had a pretty good instructor, like already. That wasn't the issue.
Yeah.
But anybody who's in my circle, if I see something that I know I can help out with, I was like, hey, bud, do you want to come train at my place? I saw a couple things. If you're trying to fight or you're trying to compete at a high level, you can't delay. You have to learn it as quickly as possible. Became a quick, fast study. And when he was about to move to Arizona, he's like, where should I go? And I was like, J Pages, 100% go there. And
That's awesome.
to this day, man, he's been killing it out there. And so big smile on my face, seeing him do big things and continue to being a menace. But I will say this, though. He had very complimentary things to say about your stuff, and you guys
Really cool.
really
Great
cool to
guy.
see. So I'm sure you guys aren't done with your chapters yet. But let's get back to this. You keep mentioning money bags, and I can't help but notice that you have these celebrations, and they look well thought out, choreographed, one might say, or at least considered. Where does one come up with the idea? I'm going to shoot an arrow in the head and then realize, well, the gravity of the situation is the arrow is going to come back down. So I should move out of the way, because that's a form of thought that not many people either have or put into their post-match celebrations.
Right.
So for
Right.
you, how much is this playing out? And are you testing these things in the gym to see what the responses might be?
Nah, these are in the gym. You can ask anybody. I'm quiet. I'm focused. I'm locked in. The character that we get, that I turn into, the situation I turn into, I'm about to compete is this is not why I'm like in the gym. Gym, I'm very quiet, and I'm taking in all that data, and I'm doing all the thinking in the gym, so I don't have to do it come match day. I'm analyzing everything, sitting back after my rounds, analyzing everything. I'm being asking as many questions as possible, even though sometimes it's hard. You have to wrap your brain around good questions, around productive questions, and around questions you're going to get a productive answer for too. So, no, definitely not in the practice room. I'd say these all come to me out of body. These aren't like necessarily thought of ahead of time, but celebrations have come to me in wins that I've had in the past, and then I get up there, I'm about to get my hand raised. I'm like, nah, it's not the moment for that. So I'll keep that one in the back pocket. But it was like Saturday was just it was that time. It was a job interview, and Brandon made it clear on what he was looking for, what he wanted. He kept using the word American Idol, American Idol. I was like, all right, I'm gonna mix in American Idol with Jersey Shore a little bit here. I'm from the East Coast. I'm that type of guy, so that's how we're gonna do things. But yeah, no, these all come to me in third person. I feel like these are like an out of body, out of body scene that's dropped into my head during the match, and then it happens. I don't even know I'm doing it right. I didn't even know that the machine gun was laying there. I didn't even know that the arrow was on my back. It came to me. It happened.
It's pretty funny though. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm a big fan because what I lack in jiu-jitsu skill, I make up for in showmanship. So I know that I'm always looking at people who have a little extra to themselves, and I go, oh damn, good job, kid. Like the arrow thing, I was like, that's a good celebration. You talk a little bit with Travis about that. I was like, okay, I'm glad you're thinking about it. And I'll be real with you. I talked a little bit about this with JJ. I was like, JJ, you get the people going. Like, just so you know, people are going to have your name in their mouths come this draft. And he's like, I know. And I'm like, all right, cool. I go, but there is something to be said about getting on a microphone and saying, I'll submit everybody in this room. And everybody 100%. Goes, well, I got feelings about that. So I'm telling you right now, those money bags, I have seen plenty of instances where somebody did an incredible job athletically and didn't get one. And then maybe they said something in their post-match, or they had a look or an aesthetic right afterwards, and then the money bags came. So I'm telling you, if you're not rehearsing them, yeah, you can be out of body. But if I'm you, I'm getting a journal, and I'm literally writing down concepts, thoughts, literally like even a head tilt or something, because every one of those little things that you have that you know are unique to your personality are going to be the things that get you to your quota of 2 money bags a night. Because
Right.
even our most active money bag participants last year didn't get 2 a night. So it's gonna come down to some great submissions, I'm sure. But I would start figuring out that extra appeal, because submissions don't always
Of
do it.
course. Of course. That's why I can do it all. I come in from the time I step onto the mat. I think my aura is there until the time I leave. I even feel like sometimes my aura is still on the mat for a match or two after mine. So whoever's after me this year, you guys are welcome. I blessed you as well, not just myself. And, I mean, all the elite people in the front that I can't wait to put on more good performances for. All those high level, I mean, people in life. I mean, Grace Gracie, Zoltan, Tachi from UFC, BJJ, Sean Shelby, all those people that come through, all those people that make the Vegas fight world so great. It's like not only am I blessing them, but my aura stays behind for a match or two afterwards. And that's what I just plan on continuing to do from the time I come out the tunnel till the time that I leave. When my hand gets raised and when I'm collecting those bags of money. Yeah, I think it's permanently there.
We may have to talk with Andy, that his aura is under fire right now. There's a new king trying to emerge as the aura king. Because I'll tell you this much, Andy at the last UFC BJJ, when he was just stunting on them, got
So let me yeah,
bro.
take a picture.
He took some flack on the commentary that I did not expect, because I thought it's different if you're not doing enough or you're not winning. I was like, but he's winning. So like they're like, if he just didn't take the time to do this and he could get a submission. And I go, I feel this is misplaced. As a commentary guy, I feel like you got to have a little more there. And to his credit, Andy was enjoying it. But that to me, was the stuff that money bags are made of. So I'm like,
100%.
I'm right there with you. So Andy, just look out, man. I'm just saying. The junior varsity is coming up faster than you think to varsity.
The new big leagues are here. That's for sure.
Well, you mentioned packing up your bags, so let's get into some origin story here. I would love to know this. For you, where did you pack your bags from? Let's talk about sports. You seem like an athletic guy all of your life. Where do sports make their way into your life, and where were you living originally, sir?
Absolutely. So I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania. I'm from Reading, Pennsylvania. I mean, about an hour south of Philadelphia. So I started growing up with football, and I swam for a little bit coming up until about maybe I was like 13 or something. And that came from my mom was a D1 swimmer. She was a super credentialed swimmer. She held all different types of records at Reading High. She was in the Olympic time trials and actually bested the girl that placed second overall in the Olympics that year. She got really sick before the Olympic Games and wasn't able to compete. Sadly, she passed away when I was a kid, when I was 8. And I feel like that's kind of stuck with me, having that athletic drive to be number one in the world. Other than that, my focus growing up was to get drafted in the NFL, was to be an NFL superstar. So I put pretty much my whole life's work and effort into doing that and making that possible. I had multiple D1 looks coming up throughout high school. I ended up settling for a D2 school. My academics weren't great, and it was a better academic fit for me. I had some D1 looks where I could possibly pursued, but I went there, noticed it wasn't a good fit, and I ended up transferring to Ventura Community College, where I played under an NFL coach, a retired NFL coach. And I played with a bunch of D1 prospects that just like academic issues or home life issues, stuff like that. And I ended up tearing my ACL twice, back-to-back seasons. And while I was there at Ventura, I started to fall in love with martial arts. I fell in love with the UFC. I fell in love with Jiu-Jitsu. And I was like, if anything happens, that my football career comes to an end, I was like, I'm going to be the best martial artist. I'm going to be one of the best on the planet. Originally, I wanted to get into MMA. I ended up having a couple of kickboxing fights or two coming up, but then I ended up really having a niche for jiu-jitsu, finding that I was good. I had a natural talent for it, and that I just love submerging myself into the lifestyle of jiu-jitsu and getting up and rolling. Early on in my career, I had friends. I had a buddy who lived in Colorado Springs, so I was able to go from Pennsylvania and do a camp or two in the Springs in Colorado, which was cool because they have that high altitude, the high elevation. So I was able to go there in the beginning of my career and get a little bit of different training with different people. But then I came back and I was in Berks County for a couple of years. Who the scene's not huge for combat sports there, but they got like a couple of local schools. So then I became, the best guy amongst the local schools, and it was just that time where I feel like I'd maxed out all the training I could do there. I'd maxed out pretty much my potential there, and I was like, if I really want to pursue this, being one of the best in the world, I need to go to a place where there's other people that have that same similar goal. And I saw, 10th Planet Las Vegas had a bunch of guys in their early 20s, a bunch of young killers coming up, and I was like, that's the room I gotta be in. I was like, those dudes all have a similar goal with me. I was like, I remember seeing a video of some of those dudes coming up. I was like, those dudes are nasty. Those guys have grit and an attitude about them. I was like, those are the type of guys every single day that are gonna hold you accountable, and they're gonna press you and make you into what you want to be, into the best version of yourself and one of the best grapplers in the world. And I was thinking of it from a very strategic standpoint. I have a really good guard. I'm a really good guard player. I need to work on my passing and my wrestling, which is what Andy's school is expertise at. And I was like, my guard will become so good if I'm going against the best passers and wrestlers, the best top players in the world every day. And I've been here for 2 years now, and I don't regret a decision ever that I made packing up, my bags leaving. I had a really good full-time job where I was a manager. I was a security manager, and I packed that up in pursuing to be number one in the world at this sport. And I believe that this season of PGF is going to give me that opportunity to prove why I'm number one in the sport, and basically just prove and get the opportunity that, my mom got sick before she was able to prove why she was number one in the world. So I'm looking forward to everything coming full circle and at least having this opportunity to prove why I'm number one in the world. And I know for a fact I'm going to do that.
Well, it's pretty incredible to hear a large chunk of that story. So thank you for sharing that.
Of
A few
course.
things I want to kind of break up bit by bit. How interesting is it, though, that you originally had your sights set on the NFL, and you're all these years later, now you're in a draft situation for the PGF. So maybe you had the vision, but that maybe it was the wrong vision, or maybe it was just an unclear vision that you just couldn't see the big picture. And yet here we are.
Yeah.
What does it feel like to be time, space, right time, right place, where you are in an element where you can be drafted in the world of jiu-jitsu?
So I feel like my background in football and that experience has all just molded me into the athlete I am now. It's like, if it wasn't for that, I spent 15 years trying to get drafted, and I knew what scouts were looking for. They want to see loose, flexible hips, because that's with football, all the rotation, all that stuff. That's one of the tests that they do is, your flexibility. So it's like, now when people see me invert, they're like, oh, how are you so flexible, all this and that. It's like, I wasn't born like this. This was every single day growing up since I was like 9 years old, stretching 3-4 times a day because I knew I was going to be evaluated. I was planning to be evaluated. So now it's like everything came full circle. You can see the body of work that I put in for my past life, my past career, in my current game, and in my current state. You can see all of it. It's just a reflection. My performances is just a reflection of my come up and what's gotten me to this point. I truly believe you can tell my athletic build, the long ripped physique comes from growing up swimming. I have that endurance, that drive of, you're that flow state you have when you're swimming, when you're doing that. And I have that aggressiveness, that grit from growing up playing football, going through grueling training camps. It's just like, it makes everything I'm doing so much easier and feel like I've been here before. It all just adds to a large list of experience I feel like that I take into this season.
Ugh. We don't need to have long people in jiu-jitsu. Long people, it's like passing long people's game is just so annoying because you think you're passed and then they just basically move, and it always looks so aggressively easy when they just reguard and you go, listen, I put on a lot of time to do this.
Yeah.
It's really a dickish move to reguard this quickly. There should be a shot clock for the amount of time I should be able to work from side. Thank you,
Right.
sir. Having said that, I want to get more into the deeper element of your first class experience. So we always try to learn a little bit more about people and what really drew them to this world. So what can you tell me? Sights, sounds, vibes, whatever it is that you remember from your very first jiu-jitsu class experience.
So I was already like doing some MMA training at an MMA school, and I was doing more stand-up, and I'd worked like some wall wrestling, but there's a jiu-jitsu program. This was at a place that's no longer in business. It was called Peak MMA in Colorado Springs. And I'd went out there my first time to Colorado with a little bit of MMA experience, like some sparring rounds and stuff, but not, I hadn't submerged myself into any of the martial arts other than me a little bit of like boxing and kickboxing training. So I go in there, I go into a gi class, and it's a school that's owned by the Gabrielsons. I don't know if you know, it's like Ken Gabrielson. He was one of the original Dirty Dozen. He was one of the first black belts in America. So I knew that this was it's like a really, from my opinion at the time, being a completely fresh white belt, I was like, oh, this is probably a pretty high level scene and stuff. And I just got absolutely dominated in different positions, different ways I didn't even know was possible. Was stuck on my back, and once again, this is a gi too, so I was even way more foreign than I feel like it would have been with no gi. So I was getting flying triangle and flying armbar, just the whole 9 yards. People were just putting on a clinic with me, a highlight tape, and then that kind of shied me away from just solely focusing on jiu-jitsu and taking a lot of jiu-jitsu classes at that time. But I feel like I made a good comeback. I feel like I was a good white belt. I was a white belt that I think I subbed a couple of brown belts in competition as a white belt. So I think I ended up having a good white belt career. I'm glad I didn't shy away from jiu-jitsu because of that, because it happens to everybody. If you go into a jiu-jitsu class and you go against blue belts, purple belts, obviously brown and black belts, you're just going to get worked and just washed and have no clue what's going on.
For sure. There's a young gentleman at our gym who kind of just really likes the clash of jiu-jitsu, and I recognize that. He's very competitive. He's a person who like celebrates if he wins. So he's just like, yes. And I go,
I love that.
But I'm like trying to figure out, I'm like, how do I not rob you of the essence of this, but teach you how to not be an idiot? So it's kind of like, it's a weird balance where I go, no, you should feel that here. But like submitting another fellow white belt on the list of achievements, kind of low, dude. So
yeah, who cares?
Let's figure out what we're doing. And I do a structure in my class where there's a Muay Thai and striking class before, and a lot of them take the second class. So I say, we don't need to warm up. We don't need to do shit. Y'all do rounds to start. And it'll remind me either I'm going to go with my game plan that I came in to teach you, or I'm going to see something that looks like shit and go, no, we're fixing that. So he stays for the rolls, and this dude comes up to me, and I don't think I've laughed harder, but he just goes, Coach, I got to leave after we're rolling. I was like, why? And he goes, I just don't got it today, man. And I go, what? Oh, God, I don't accept this as an answer at all. God. What do you mean?
I wish I could do that some days.
Yeah, but I'm like, sure.
I'd be greeted with across the face.
100%.
Get back in line, kid.
And I got to be honest, you touch upon the great school and everything that goes there, but part of the secret sauce of that gym is Coach Casey. And all I could think of is my child. I'm a relatively nice coach, but I do have my side to me. Do you think you're ever going to get it by leaving now?
Hell
And
no.
it is a difficult proposition, but I swear to God, the minute he told me, he's like, I don't got it today. And I go, to drill? To like do the class? Like, this is the easy part. That's a harder
Yeah.
part. So I get it. I know that it is good, and I'm glad that they were able to rein it in. It just sounds like you're a competitive guy who understood at the very beginning, these nerds have something I don't have yet. But you came
Right.
back, and that's the important thing is if you don't come back,
100%.
that's where we get mad as coaches. So
Right.
begs the question. When did you fall in love with jiu-jitsu so much to the point where you follow it as more than just a hobby? And in your case, you pack up everything on this part of your soul, this part of your brain that says, I know I could be great at it. I got to go out there and continue testing myself and learning. So for you, where do you actually fall in love with it as more than just a hobby?
When I go back to my hometown, Berks County, I end up going back there after doing a camp at Colorado Springs, where I was doing a camp. So I thought I was going to fight MMA at the time. So I was doing like an MMA camp. I go back and I noticed there's a jiu-jitsu gym in town. I'm like, I'm going to start training there, start working my jiu-jitsu, you know what I mean, for my MMA. I go, I start doing jiu-jitsu. I absolutely fall in love with it, fall in love with the gym, fall in love with the coaches. Since they were a jiu-jitsu school and they were trying to start a striking program. So they're like, hey, we'll give you a free membership. You know, I mean, just teach some striking classes, help our guys that are just getting started with striking, as I was no way an expert at the time, striking wise, but I had some experience. So they were just like, it's perfect. We're trying to start a striking program. You're trying to get some jiu-jitsu under your belt. We can meet in the middle here. And it was just a perfect fit, perfect relationship. I ended up falling in love with jiu-jitsu more than anything else. And I fell in love with it and just fully submerged myself in it, started competing right away, started competing as much as I could and as often as I could, as big of competitions as I could. I remember the first ADCC Open that was in Vegas for the first time. I remember going there. The one it was ADCC week. I believe it was the year that Gordon and Nicky Rod faced in the finals, maybe like two ADCCs ago. It was when Gordon was still doing the division and everything. I did that, and that was like my first exposure to like serious, like big, high level competition that wasn't just like a local tournament. I was just completely hooked and obsessed. I was like, I gotta learn how to be a best at this. And I saw the people that were the best at this, how they just did jujitsu all the time, how their mind was just so locked in. I was like, these guys are so good and know so much about jujitsu and are just so educated. I was like, I need to get like that. I need to be like that. I was like, these guys are at the top. They're always studying. They're always watching instructionals. So it was like, I had a pretty good blueprint of what to do to be there. And it was just like, I was addicted. I was hooked.
Love hearing that. I could hear the East Coast come out though. It's very subtle.
Of course.
This is something that I swear to God, dating all the way back to Gary Tonin, when I was like, say the word tournament for me, please.
Of course, tournament.
Okay, torn.
You gave me some time to think about it there.
It's when you say torn, it's like I torn something a mint. So it always takes me back a second, and it's so fascinating how you all don't know each other, but you all kind of have that tendency to say it. And it always happens when I go to the East Coast and I go, hey man, how's the tournament going? Oh, the tournament's going great. And I go, takes a second. My brain, it's got to readjust to that. Well,
those are the Jersey kids. That's that Jersey lingo.
It's very interesting to me because they don't know any better. It's the way they speak on that side, and me being the most LA of LA guys, thinking like, well, that's how I speak. So I guess we just have to meet in the middle somewhere. But it is very funny to me that even as you're like telling your life story, you're just like, man, I had an instructor and he took me here to this tournament, and I go, magic. It's never gonna end for me. I'm laughing at that.
It's mob talk.
It is the mob talk. It is a little bit of that. I would tell you this, Brett. You know, you've already shown great character. You have an incredible story that I've now learned way more about. And it makes sense why in that post-match interview that you had with Travis, that you were bringing attention to calling yourself the face of combat sports. So I guess that begs the question, is MMA still in your future? Because how can you be the face of all combat sports if you're just going to take the jiu-jitsu lane? Do you have
I
further
meant
plans outside of this world?
I want to be the face of combat sports for the area that I'm from,
Mm.
from Reading, PA, from anywhere south of Philly. On down. There's not a whole lot of sports stars that come out of there. There's Lonnie Walker who's in the NBA right now. He's done a good job making a good name, making, the area that we're from proud. There's Alex Anzalone, who's been in the NFL. He's with the Lions now. He's been in the NFL for about 10 years now. Both those guys are from the same county as me. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of celebrities. There's not a whole lot of sports stars. Like, I want to be the face of combat sports. When you think about Pennsylvania, when you think about my area, I want to be the face of that. That's why being the face of combat sports in the whole world. Yeah, I'm gonna have to trump a lot of people there. If that's my goal, I better get my whiskey company ready if I want to do that to throw some shots at Connor. But that's what I want to do. I want to be that influence. I want to be that type of status that I'm the face of that. I'm the face of combat sports for forever from the area is what I want to be when people think of the area in a combat sense. And I think that being one of the biggest stars in jiu-jitsu in a really big growing combat sport will do that. I think that if I'm one of the top 5 stars in the sport, which I think is very realistic for me, and I think my career is headed in that way, on that type of path, I think what I'm saying is not unreasonable. That when people think about my area and they're thinking about it, they're combat sports fans. They're going to think Ray, Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's Brett Moyer. That's where he's from. So I think I'm right on track to hitting those goals that I want to hit.
It is an achievable dream, but it's also one that you have to see before everybody else. So
100%.
the same approach that you had where you said, I'm going to get ready for the NFL draft. I'm going to make myself ready. Well, guess what? Now you're in a world where you're in the first elements of being drafted in the jiu-jitsu landscape, because that's kind of a new thing to this world. And you're also one of the first, I think, that can say that they had their sights set on being drafted as an athlete, and it just so happened to be jiu-jitsu. Because
Right.
what I find for a lot of my young students is when I explain to them, like, oh, there's an organization now where you can be drafted, they're kind of like, oh, that's cool. And I go, no, it's not just cool. It just didn't exist. And now that it does exist, if I was a young athlete and I was thinking you have to go to MMA because there's nothing else left in jiu-jitsu, that doesn't happen now. Now you can do jiu-jitsu
100%.
and just be in that world. They're like, that's cool. And I go, oh, man, I really wish they knew what it was like to just travel to find a blue belt or anything.
Right.
That would
Those were my
remotely
struggles.
look like a paying tournament. So
100%.
I'm very happy that you are now of that first generation of folks that are getting drafted. So I guess the question is this, as we start to wrap up here for this portion. Myself, a former national champion in speech, I want to hear the pitch. I want to hear a pitch. I don't have to hear the exact pitch that you're going to do. But this is my wheelhouse. So it's different than if Egg or somebody else were to ask you. Those people, they don't know. This is the guy. So tell me, sir, right now, if I were to say, we'll put the microphone in your hand, what's a reason that I need to draft you on my team?
I think it comes down to simple numbers. This isn't me giving a sales pitch. This isn't me trying to convince somebody. These are numbers that, once again, our stat guy did. This is simple facts are, from a standpoint, I'm going to score a lot of points. On Saturday, I was scored 22 points. That's a lot of points. That's more points than most, probably 80 and 90% of the athletes on PGF have scored in one season. I was able to do that in one night against some of the best people in the division in the world. This season, I've had more subs in under a minute than I have had outside of a minute. And I have most of my matches end in subs. So kind of dissect that. It's guaranteed I'm going to score a lot of points. I'm going to score a lot of points inside of a minute. I have a crazy good leg lock arsenal. I have a really sneaky Darce. I can score points from all over the place. And I proved I'm a dog. I'm an animal. I can't be taken out That qualifier run should tell you everything you need to know. Now, from a defensive standpoint, other than getting flash leg locked every, I think the statistic is like every 20 or 30 matches, which is crazy low. The odds of me getting subbed are so low. I've only been rear naked choked in competition one time. It was 2 years ago. So the odds of me giving up a kill in PGF, of me giving up 6 points, are slim to none. And it's not going to happen. My guard never gets passed. I have infinite guard retention. So the numbers are simple. I don't give up points, and I score a lot of points. I don't give up chokes, and I'm going to score a ton of points. It's simple. It's easy. Whatever team I'm on, I'm going to be super motivated to bring the rest of the team up, to build all of us up, to make sure that we win that season. It's my number one priority, is making sure, first things first, we win this season. And if we win this season, I'm going to be in the playoffs. I'm going to be in a position to be in the playoffs for sure, because I'm going to score a lot of points. So my personal goals of being in the playoffs are just going to help us win this season. And then once I'm in the playoffs, I'll worry about, winning the season from there, because that's obviously my goal, is being the next PGF champion and proving why I'm a world champion, why I'm worthy of being a world champion, and what I'm going to do. And we talked about, me being the face of the fight game on the East Coast and everything, of what I'm going to do as a world champion, and how I'm going to change the sport and how people view us.
I have a score here. Do you want it?
Let's hear it.
All right. What do you think I scored you?
51 out of 50.
I'll give my qualifiers. Solid. Good arguments. I like the arguments. Here's what I want. Inverted structure. You started with we're ending with we're gonna win. I like the confidence they have in that. I want to start with that right up top. If I'm a team member and I'm listening to you, that inverted structure lets me know, all right, he's thinking about the team. Now tell me about you. As you get into that, I would say 2 things to really go up to that 9 level or a 10 level. Shorter sentences, brevity is everything. We got to get in and out. These people don't have attention spans. True. Look at the people you're going to be talking to. This is not a very cerebral audience. It's yeah, hit your stats, know your stats, give them 3. You should make the argument right then and there. And then we just need a last sentence. So you know how we were talking about trying to figure out that whatever it is,
of course,
show them what they can expect at the show. And I think easily we can go from 7 up to an 8, up to a 9, up to a 10. But that is those are my notes. So I wanted to get that one good practice session. And you know what? It's deep in the episodes. They won't even see it. So we got a good practice run. I'm going to be watching, man. I'm going to be on the sidelines. And we're going to see if I can give you that Mr. Miyagi on the side, one of these. But I just want everybody in the draft to know, all of us on the sidelines, we're rooting for you guys to get as much money as you can. So go out there.
That. Thank you.
You've got this. Now it's just show them who you are and show them why this is a show they want to be a part of. So that's my main note. Here's what I'd love to do, sir. Absolutely. I'm going to put the camera on you. Feel free to shout out any friends, family members, teammates, anybody who helped you get to the dance, as well as any sponsors who take care of you, sir. The camera is on you.
First and foremost, I gotta thank my roots, my startup roots. All the original squad at Berks County BJJ and all the heads that are still there now. It's shout out to you guys. It's all the kids coming up through Berks County right now. You guys can do it. You guys can do as much as you want to do. Don't let anybody tell you that you can't. It's I hope that I'm a good example for you guys, that you guys can take this sport and you guys can take combat sports as far as you want. You can use it to change your life. You can use it to put yourself in a better place. Just go in there and go balls deep. Whatever you do, go absolutely as hard as you can. So I want to thank all those guys back home. Eric, Faust, Jose, you guys are the best. I appreciate you guys deeply. My training partners out here, my coaches out here, Coach Casey, Andy, it's just the way that they prepare us is like no one else, and it's like nothing else. I'm just beyond grateful for those guys. I'm beyond grateful to be in land these big camps, being able to prepare with somebody that's preparing for world champion level competition, and he's at where I want to be, and I mean he's preparing for what I one day want to be preparing for. So being able to be a part of that and being able to watch so closely and being able to work with him through all this is exactly what I need, and it's why I moved out here. So being able to participate and actually live out what I moved out here to do means the world to me. All my training partners, you guys know who you are, that I scrap with every single day, that give me just undeniably great rounds. It's like, I appreciate you guys to no limit and to no end. It's like I wouldn't be sitting here with my spot in the draft without them. And that's the honest truth. Those guys have prepared me for war and for battle. I'm not just saying that. Those are the direct people that have made the impact for me to be here. So, we talked about Nick, Spencer, Adam, Chad, all you guys, Mike Hayden. It's like all those dudes, Justin. It's like all these guys I scrap with every single day. And then all the UFC guys that we have coming through, all the guys that come through town that give us great rounds. It's like they all add to the juice of what's gotten me here and what's made me so confident to go in here now. It's like I'm just so used to high level competition, to world championship competition. I'm grateful for all the names I brought up on here. I'm just beyond grateful for them. Obviously my parents back home, my dad, my older brother is just such a big support system. He's just always so positive. My dad, he's just always been my biggest fan and my believer. He's just, no matter what, he's never had a doubt in me. As soon as I told him, I was like, I'm going to move to Vegas and I'm going to try to be one of the best in the world at this. He was like, I don't doubt that for 1 second. He watched me grow up just hungry, just with a drive and a passion to be number one in the world. And he knows I'll sacrifice anything. He knows I'll go days without sleeping to get what I want and stuff. That's why because he's seen it. That's why when I told him that, he was just like, go handle business, go out there and make sure that, everybody remembers you when they face you. Make sure that everybody that faces you knows that they were facing the best person they ever faced that day. So it's like, that's where my mindset and everything comes. I'm just beyond grateful and thankful for them. My grandma, my grandfather who passed away. So it's like, I'm just so grateful for all the influences and all the people that have put me where I am now. And, it's, I'm sure a lot of people say that, but it's true. It's like, I wouldn't be here without my support system. It's just like, you guys are best.
Well, it sounds like you're definitely going to be carrying those friends and family members into the season of the PGF, and it's commendable, 100%. Man. I know it is tough to, when you are young, have somebody like a mom that you don't necessarily get to see, but that really gives you that motivation to say, like, you can be the best in the world. You really can achieve 100%. That if you have a certain kind of dedication, you find the right resources, and it sounds like you found the right team. So congrats to you on that, man. Looking very much forward to seeing you this season. I will say, though, a little disappointed you didn't get to do this interview in person because
right. Me too. Me too.
It's, I understand things came up, things get switched around. I do have some bad news for you, though.
Serious.
This does result as a loss because you didn't show up, so it's like a forfeit. So unfortunately, 0-1 on the record between you and me. So
that's how that works, huh?
It is how it works. I don't make
pull out.
You know what I mean? Like, I respect you a lot as somebody I would have gotten rounds with, but man, it's just these are the rules, In
the future here, when you come to Vegas, we'll have to make that up for sure.
I'm sure we will. And unfortunately, you also have to get in line there because Spencer's trying to get these hands. Nick wants more rounds. We have a lot of friends there.
Get you after they go through you. Perfect. I'll be the best.
I'll probably lead with you.
I'll play cleanup. Sure.
I'll probably lead with you because
Nick and Spencer. Perfect.
I talk shit directly about you on the show. So I feel like that always has to start it. Let me have a warm-up round first, which is kind of an oxymoron at Vegas. But at least with Spencer, I got time before he shows up in the PGF because he's chomping at the bit to come back here too.
Yeah, those kids are dogs.
They're very good. You know what it was? Sure. Spencer sent me a note.
They're ridiculous.
The note that he had said, he was like, hey man, yeah, I'm not going to be here that day when I went to go train at Vegas. And he's like, I'm just mad. We haven't drawn swords yet. And I was like, well, first of all, okay. I'm going to leave it at that, kid. But I'm sure we'll train at some point together. But yeah, they're giant goofballs. I love those kids. Very,
Yeah,
very good
those are kids you
jiu-jitsu.
don't want beef with. You don't want to draw swords with them. That's for sure.
Listen, I don't even know, man. Whenever he says stuff like that, I just looked at it and I know he's laughing on the other side. I go, who are these children? And who does it? Like someone, this is what parental controls are for. Someone, an adult needs to proofread this nonsense.
It's Andy. Andy's proofreading it.
Oh God, that's just as bad. Oh God. I mean, listen, dude. Andy and I have enough moments on camera that I have had to work extra hard as a host on. And there is a certain clip from last year when we were live, and you know, I do what I do best, which is make people look good. And Andy, the chaos energy that he brings to a set when he doesn't have to compete is let's put it this way, your boy earned his check that day. So
it's a legendary clip. I already know which one you're talking about.
just,
I think that clip ruined a few things at the open bar for us. But
I'm pretty sure it has too. But I definitely know that as it happened, the only thing I'll say as we close this one out is just the look I have on my face, which is I didn't bring you on to the show. I was ready to let bygones be bygones and my man just enjoy his day. And he found his way onto our set, and I go, oh no, I gotta work. I gotta find a way to make this okay. And don't get me wrong, afterwards I laughed my ass off, but I was just like, my boy, I was trying to let you enjoy your day, but so it's just, let's put it this way. Always watch the post show. That's all I'm gonna say. Always watch the post show. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, you'll end up with some legendary clips. Yeah.
You never know who might stop by. Well, Rhett, I have to say, congratulations. I'm going to say bye to you, and we'll record the other thing off air. But thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm really looking forward to you at the draft. And we'll talk very, very soon, sir.
Thank you. God bless. I appreciate the time. Thank you, guys.
Likewise. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to about do it for us here at the show. A few quick reminders. First and foremost, if you like the show, like, comment, subscribe wherever you're watching. So that means if you like this show, make sure you put the little thing. Even if you didn't like me, you should like him. Like. And a comment. I told you I would give you a prompt. So here is your prompt. What is the best post-match celebration you have ever seen in jiu-jitsu? My man came up with the bow and arrow. It's got to be top tier. But what are some of the better ones that you've seen? I'm not talking about like I've seen this happen. I didn't even know what that is. Like a chef stirring it? Nah, that didn't work for me in jiu-jitsu. I've seen lots of crazy ones. So you tell me what one of the best ones is in the comment section. Describe it. It's probably easier. Emojis won't do it justice, so let's do it there. Additionally, if you enjoy the show, check us out at patreon.com/grappling hour. Check these interviews out 30 days before anybody else. And for a few extra dollars, see extra bonus content not available anywhere else. Last couple reminders. Get this merch. RafaSparza.com/merch. Tank tops, hoodies, t-shirts, all Grappling Hour themed. Very, very helpful to us here, and every cent you pay goes directly back into the show. And last but not least, if you like the discussions that we have here on the show, check us out on our Discord at Grappling Hour. Ladies and gents, that's going to do it for us here at the show. My thanks to you for watching. My thanks to you for liking. My thanks to you for commenting. It's been a great day for grappling. We'll see you back on the mats.